Caribbean. Lot.
Oh, that's
Okay. Okay. My name is Denise. Welcome to our podcast. This is my son Glenn,
Hello.
Joni,
Yep.
and Mia.
The third son.
And I have another child, Danny. She will be joining us, like, God knows when.
One of these days.
One of these days.
Eventually.
Our last podcast, we discussed meeting people. And this episode, we're going to talk about So You Met Someone. Yes, welcome to Notes to Young People. In this podcast, we try to share with you our experiences so you don't have to, I don't want to say mistakes, but so you can learn from our experiences.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you met someone.
Oh.
So what's next? Well, my first advice is get to know the person.
How?
Get to know the person. Ask questions. You know, you talk. You talk on the phone. You say, you ask questions. Ask anything you want to ask. Where do you live? Who are your parents? All that. You ask everything. Don't be afraid to ask questions. What are your intentions? What are you looking for in a relationship? I think that's very important. Because sometimes, some people don't want a serious relationship. They just want someone to date or whatever. So so in order for you to know, you're gonna say, what are you looking for? Do you want a serious relationship? Do you just want to date? And I think maybe that's the first question. And based on what they say, if they're in a serious relationship, they want someone serious. You would like maybe say get to know family. Well, I wouldn't do the family thing right away, but just talk and call each other and get to know each other. For me, that's the first thing.
I think that you said something important with the questions. What do you guys think are the most important questions to ask when you first meet somebody? Like the most pivotal.
What are their goals? Including dreams, aspirations.
And what are they doing right now? Like what actions are they taking now?
Yeah, to meet those goals. What, like you mentioned, what they're looking for. Something short term, long term.
Yes.
Do they want to get married? Do they want to have kids?
Yes.
Do you have kids?
Are they religious?
Yeah.
What kind of religion do you want to raise your kids? Like, how do you want to raise your kids?
That's if they want kids.
Do you want kids, and how many?
Yes.
How were you raised? Were you raised with a single mom, a single dad?
I would also ask about their friend group, because I feel like that says a lot about someone.
What do you mean?
They're all single and
like what their friends are like, what they do, how they know how they met their friends, how their core friend group, what they do together.
Also, what's your relationship with your family, with your mom, with your dad? If they have a good relationship with their mom, if they respect their mom, well, that says something. What's your relationship with the people around you? So I think all of that is important. But I think the most important question is, what's your goal in this? Why are you here? Why are you on this app? Or why do you want to date me? What do you want?
What do you want?
I think you would make your decisions based on whatever that answer is. If they say, I just want to date people, well, I guess you just, date different people. I guess you have to make a decision, well, do I want to date different people? Or if they say, well, I eventually want to get married, and you're going to say, well, do I want to get married? So I guess you had to have to weed people out based on what you want. So you met someone, you asked questions, and based on the answers of those questions, you proceed to the next step or the next level. Glennie, anything to add?
I guess just knock out your red flags.
What are red flags? What are red flags to you?
Deal breakers.
Yeah,
Whoa, 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 whoa,
well, we
whoa.
can get into deal breakers, but what are red flags? What are the things
They're,
that make you go,
very,
"Hmm?"
very close. Like for me personally.
Yeah, and yeah, for both sexes, everything.
They do a lot of drugs.
What kind of drugs?
Like hardcore. It's not like not like weed.
Mm.
Or I guess if you count alcohol as a drug.
Yeah.
I mean, like
Do
do
they
they
drink
just
a lot?
spend their weekends like taking
That's
a
true.
shot, you know,
Oh, I
at
see.
a
It's
some
true.
sketchy party, you know?
Oh, and wake and bake.
Yeah, I feel like you can smoke weed, but the amount to which you do smoke weed
Oh,
says a
yeah.
lot about like what you prioritize,
Yeah.
and you know, because if you're spending all that time being high, like you're really not taking care of anything or doing any sort of hobbies or progressing.
I know a lot of people that I ask them like, hey, you want to do something for the weekend?
Feel like you want to smoke weed?
Like,
But
no,
what's
not
the activity?
really. We can just like smoke weed. Like,
Wow.
I was like, that's boring.
It is boring.
But I
Just
think
doing that all weekend, like.
I feel as if some people use drugs or weed to escape their reality.
yeah.
Because if you have to smoke weed all the time, it means that you are not happy with your normal state of reality. So you want to go to a different. To me, I've never. Well, to me, that's my opinion. Smoking weed takes you into a different state, and so therefore you're not happy with your everyday life. So therefore you want to change it, and then you smoke or whatever. You drink alcohol to like relax you or whatever. So yeah, if you find somebody who has to do that all the time, that's a red flag.
Yeah.
So
I think that there are like a few things that are indicative of like addictive personalities.
if I drink my wine.
I mean, but well,
I'm kidding.
I mean, there's a difference between like everything in moderation. So there's certain things like that if you do every once in a while, it's like it's cool. I don't judge, but
No.
you're using it like all the time.
Mm-hmm.
You're addicted. You're addicted to it, and it doesn't have to be drugs. It could be other things,
Like what?
porn.
Ooh.
Like if
Whoa.
like, I mean,
No, it's true though.
yeah, like if you have to, you know, if you do, cool. But if it's like every day and you can't go to work without doing it,
Or like you need to do it before like seeing like
But
doing it with your partner. Like you need to watch it before to like get yourself up.
yeah,
Kinda
that's
But
and you've
okay,
desensitized
okay.
yourself, and
Yeah.
you've robbed both of you of the experience.
Yeah.
I think we're jumping ahead a bit.
Okay, red flags.
Because we kind
Yeah,
of
let's go back to
we
red
just
flags.
met the person.
I know, but
yeah, but that's something that can come up in the
yeah,
beginning.
like you can tell within a week if somebody smokes weed. Oh, smoke weed every day.
Oh.
Yeah.
And the porn thing, because you
Yeah.
know,
Well,
one of my things is that I don't think that when you meet someone you should really be having any kind of sexual involvement with them.
Yeah, that's true. That the porn thing,
Yeah.
I digress.
right.
So-
But just addictions, like watch out
Yeah.
for people's addictions.
Yeah.
Red flags though. What are the red flags?
When they treat wait staff bad, when they don't tip well for a good waiter.
Which we mentioned
when they
the
don't
last
get
time.
when they don't get along with their family
When they don't. Well,
Get along with their family member.
or your family.
Yeah. Okay.
I feel like if they don't get along with their entire family,
Something's
That
wrong with
is a
them.
little
then
red
there's something
flaggy.
wrong.
Yeah.
That is-
But you know, like you can't get along with everybody. So if somebody's like, oh, there's that one cousin or that one sibling that like they don't mesh,
Yeah.
This it's something to be explored, but you can't be like you're a terrible person because you don't
No, of
talk to
course
that
not.
one person.
Of course
Right.
not. How about you think a mom relationship? What do you think about that? Especially a guy and a mom relationship.
I think that a guy should, if a guy doesn't have a good relationship with his mom, that's a red flag.
Yeah.
And it's gonna show like other issues down the line. I feel like, or if his relationship with his mom is too
Oh, he's a
Codependent?
mama's boy.
Yeah, I feel like when you respect your mom, and if you're close, that's one thing. But
Mhm. It's respect.
yeah, but when you're like codependent on each other, or he's like, I don't know. I think that there's certain things that are too much.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's like, I think there's healthy relationships for two adult people, and then there's
I would
an adult baby.
also look at their spending habits, which kind of ties into the weed thing. Like, what are they spending all their money on?
Okay. That's true.
If
Do they live a lifestyle that you want to live? Healthy lifestyle, active lifestyle, or do you not care about
or
that?
inactive lifestyle. You can't just reel in somebody who's at the gym every day if you want to be a couch potato, because that's not fair, and neither of you guys will have fun.
Right.
I think that depending on their creativity in the beginning, I think that shows effort. Like, I just got a message from somebody who was trying to pursue me recently, and he was like, oh, what are you doing tonight? And I was like, oh, nothing. And he was like, oh, I got a room. And I was like,
Yeah.
Like a hotel room?
That's disrespectful.
Ew.
like, you don't have to pay for anything fancy. You could be like, hey, let's go to this free concert. I'll bring a blanket.
Mm-hmm.
And like the amount of effort that they put in the beginning is going to reflect the amount of effort that they're going to put in the relationship, and then even less too. Like when they start to get tired of you, like
But
and
I'm gonna say to you, that's a red flag.
that's a red flag. Yeah, that's what I'm
What?
saying.
The hotel room thing.
That was a no for me.
It's either he doesn't know how to communicate well, or he's just totally disrespectful. I have a hotel room. What does that mean?
Yeah. Well, even when if I met somebody and we like each other, if they just keep inviting me to their house, also, like, every once in a while it's fine, we can hang out, but I feel like we should be going out and doing things and experiencing each other, and like, even if it's just to sit in the park.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, if you just keep inviting me to your house.
Yeah. Well, that's why I say get to know each other. You talk a lot, and get to know what they're into. If you want the same things, and also, okay, let's say you start going out. Like, where is he taking you? Is he taking you to his mother's house, or is she taking you to her family's house? We're saying she because we're females, or he, because we're female. But I think it's important there's no guarantee that if the guy takes you to his mother's house, that you are it.
No. No.
Right?
No.
Because we know that mothers will. But I think if he takes you, though, there's a good chance that, okay, at least he's not married or something.
He might be married.
To take you to his mother's house?
Yes, people's moms cover for their sons. I'm not saying all the time. Like, if you are being pursued by somebody and you never meet their family, that's a red flag.
Mm-hmm.
But also, it's like, there's no guarantees.
No,
when
of
you meet
course not.
somebody, they could be married.
Mm-hmm.
You could be the side. The mom could be covering for them. The mom could just be like, I'm just gonna keep my mouth shut.
Mm.
Or or some moms just blatantly like
Okay.
like are their son's friends
Okay.
and they'll cover for them.
Okay, this is the guarantee. You go Christmas, Thanksgiving, the important holidays that you are there.
Yeah, that's
That's more of a
A main chick thing.
yeah. Oh
Well-
my god.
I'm not saying that. Well, it better be the main chick than
I would
Oh
hope
no.
than side chick. But
Oh gosh.
at least you know that he's not married. So if you're going to, if he's inviting you for Christmas and Thanksgiving, that's a little more assuring that
Yeah.
okay, this is somewhat of a. There's no guarantee in life though. You could be married to a guy and he asks you to marry him and you have your wedding and he has some other woman somewhere. So in life there's no guarantee. But if you are the one who goes to Thanksgiving, if you're the one who goes to Christmas, if he invites you the day before Thanksgiving or Christmas Eve, Christmas or New Year's Eve, those are red flags. So the red flags
New
are the
Year's.
Eves.
4th of July.
The Valentine Eve.
Ooh.
The day before.
That's side chick
That's-
day.
February
Yes,
13th.
yes. So you have to be aware of stuff like that. Yeah, it's tough.
What else?
I would say also, one thing I said was, don't jump into bed with the person. I don't think there's a specific time, but at least get to know the person. At least meet the guy's mother first. Even if you're a side chick, meet the guy's mother. Meet his family before you sleep with him.
Even if you're a side chick. huh?
But you don't know. And the people don't do this. Get an STD test done.
Yeah.
I was watching something. This woman said she went to Jamaica and she had to have a good time. And she ended up with AIDS. She ended up with AIDS.
They.
And she had a one night stand. And, and ended up with AIDS. So get that test done. At least let him show you his test results. Because, every time you go to the doctor, even if you're in a relationship, you should get an STD done.
How do you bring that up to someone?
You just tell them I've done that.
Yeah,
yeah.
With my
That is
ex, I was like,
straightforward.
let's go on an STD. Let's go get tested together. And I was like, is that cool? And then he was like, yeah, I have no problem with that.
Yeah. You tell them what you want. You say, hey, and they'll respect you for it because
They should.
they know that you're not, they know you don't have an STD.
Ooh.
Because, you say, look, before I deal with anybody, I need an STD test done.
You get it done the same time, you get your results, and you show each other on the phone, and you're like, okay, cool. And then if they get offended and they have a problem with it, like, red flag,
That's
run,
a red flag. Yeah.
run away. Oh, so you think I'm dirty?
No,
Never
no.
said that
yeah.
because it's
No.
just like I'm taking a test too. Like,
Mhm,
don't you care to know that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Oh yeah. I guess take both of you guys should take the test just
Yeah.
to affirm the
yeah,
trust.
I mean, but if he
Yeah.
shows you, and that's,
Oh, man.
I mean, protect yourself. But
Right.
you can offer the gesture like, let's both do it.
I think you should.
No,
both do it.
I do both.
Yeah.
You should both
Yeah.
do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that you should.
Even if
do
you
it.
like no, you should just both do it.
Yeah, because then you both have the reassurance, and then if he's like, oh, I randomly got something, you'd be like,
Well,
That's
it
not
ain't for
me.
me.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Run
It's
away.
not from me.
Yeah.
So
So that's my first advice for when you meet somebody, you get to know them, you ask questions, you make sure you both want the same things. If you both want a relationship, if you don't want a relationship, if you want a relationship that leads to marriage eventually, not right away, but eventually, if you want children, if you do get married, and it's very important to know, hey, I want a certain amount of kids. That's important also. So you don't waste your time with somebody who's going to say, well, I only wanted one. And then, you wanted 5.
What happens if you go along the line and you decide you don't want kids anymore?
then you gotta tell them that.
You
and
breach the contract.
You breach. Yeah, that's true too. If I've spent so many years with you in my life,
Yeah,
and you're like,
and-
actually, no, I don't. Like, okay, people change their mind, but you don't just change your mind like that. Like, if in the beginning of the relationship you were like, yeah, I kind of want 3 kids, and then we've been together for 5 years, and you're like, oh no, I don't want kids. It's like you knew for a while
Yeah. The thought
that
was
you didn't
brewing.
want that.
Yeah.
And sometimes when you're in a relationship, people tell you what you want to hear.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
what they think that, will get you to, get them to what do you call it? Step 1? First base?
Oh.
I don't know. Where they, they tell you what you tell them what you want, and they agree. So you know what? Make the other person tell you what you
Yeah.
want.
Ask the questions.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Be
because-
the interviewer, not the interviewer.
Yeah, because sometimes people have a habit of telling you what they think you want to hear, but that's not necessarily what they want, because they want to get whatever.
They want you to like them and
Yes.
Right.
So when you meet somebody, it's, in life there's no guarantee that anything's gonna work out, but you have to try your best to do what you can to weed out the people who are not for you.
Yeah.
I mean, you could be in a relationship and things seem to be going fantastic and it doesn't work. But sometimes some of us don't weed out the people. We don't, we don't put in the work to make sure that we have the best possible outcome. There are no guarantees of the outcome. But you have to put in the work to make sure that, okay, I did all the question asking, I made all the right steps, we did all that stuff. And if it didn't work, it doesn't, it didn't. But you have to put in the work. You can't just, date somebody and you don't ask any questions. Sometimes people are afraid to ask questions because they feel as if they ask too many questions, the person is gonna run away. But if they run away, let them run.
No.
Oh.
If you ask somebody questions and they don't like it, let them go. You weed them out even faster. Don't delay your questioning.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that you should be a woman who say you meet somebody or a man and say, oh, I want to get married tomorrow. No, you can't get married tomorrow. You scare people off, but ask questions. Do you eventually want to get married one day? Is it something you want to do? If you know you would eventually want to get married and the person says, no, I don't want to, that's not the person for you. And some people have a habit where they think they can convince people to change their mind.
Yeah.
If they say no, it means no.
Yeah.
If they say no, take it as a no.
Yep.
Not because sometimes, some people will convince people. There have been relationships with people, but then sometimes it doesn't work out because that's not what the person really wanted. So if the person tells you no, you take it as a no and you move on and look for somebody who wants the same things you want.
I also just want to say, with the questions, any honest person is always going to be willing to answer your questions and clear the air.
Yes.
That's it.
That's
Jody,
it.
do you want to top up?
Yeah. Oh.
The type of double.
Well, move your glass from in front of Glennie's face real quick.
Yeah.
You're blocking my bro.
So
It's done. No more top ups.
It's done, really?
Yeah.
That big ass brother.
So we said red flags.
But I said hold off sex and physical check for STD and get involved. Then make sure you get introduced to the family and all that.
Okay. Any more red flags?
Oh, I have one.
Yeah.
If they're... So say you want to... I think one thing you should also ask is past relationships and why it didn't work.
Ooh.
And
That's a
then-
very good one.
That's a good question.
That's
good one.
excellent.
That's a
Good
good
question.
question. And check
Can
to
say a
make
lot.
sure that they don't blame it all on the other person all the
Yeah.
time.
If they talk shit about their ex a little too much,
Ooh,
Sometimes
that's a
it
red
means
flag.
Sometimes it means they either don't hold themselves accountable or they still have feelings.
Yeah, but sometimes the ex is.
But sometimes the ex is
but
trapped.
they
But, like-
but they don't need to be black. Like move on. Like you don't need to be talking badly about them like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
But
no,
that's- I want to go
If
back.
it's not warranted.
You can say what they did, but just like be moderate about it because
Yeah.
it comes off wrong if you're like, oh, this person was horrible. They ruined like
I feel
this.
like that's
this,
all they
this.
talk about sometimes. And
Yeah,
then
they're
they
not
go on
over it.
tangents. It's like okay.
But you can. That's a very good question.
Or every girl.
Because I'm thinking, this is what I was thinking. Sometimes when you meet somebody and they have an ex, and some people are like afraid to talk to the ex. I don't want to talk to that person. But that person knows the person you're with more than anybody else.
Talk to them.
But sometimes, they could be biased, but sometimes they'll be honest. Because if somebody was supposed to come and ask me about my ex, I would give an honest opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I have no reason to sabotage or anything. But some people don't want to do that because they think they're going to be sabotaged. But I think it's okay to ask what happened to your past relationship. What's the
Mine
problem?
didn't work out.
Yeah.
I think that we missed that question.
Yeah.
That's very important.
I agree. And even if she does or he does like say things from a place of emotion or like exaggerate things or try, sometimes
There's some truth
sometimes there's
embedded
some
in there.
truth in there, and
Yeah.
then it is parallel with something like she's saying this and that's something that I know
I see
that
this.
I see as well.
Yes.
And
Yeah. That's a very good. Very
their
good
ex
point.
is not always your enemy. Sometimes.
not
Sometimes
always.
they're like, I don't.
Sometimes
I
the ex
want
is so
him.
glad to
Like,
get rid of
yeah,
him.
like
It's like-
I don't want him. Like this is what happened, and
Mhm.
or like they're happy with somebody new, and they're like, we were young, and blah blah
Yeah.
blah, and they did this, and I did this, and or she might curse you out, and then
Yeah, but it's good to ask what you said, Glennie, that,
Yeah.
what happened? What ended your last relationship?
yeah.
And then,
Because it does work. It is, if the person is honest,
More often than not, they're willing to like if you, depending on how you approach them, like if you're like, hey, can you just clear this up? Like I just want to know.
but you can ask that person. You don't even have to ask the ex, the girl, the person you're dating. You ask them what happened, right?
Yeah.
And if they're honest, they'll tell you. I don't know if it's always convenient to talk to the ex because the ex may not. But if you can,
If the ex is still in the picture, like if you date somebody who has kids already, then I think making friends with them, or if they have a business together, or if they red flag, you said. You guys should.
If them and their ex,
no, I'm like
If them and their
friends.
ex had a real estate business together and they own houses together that they rent out, but they're not together anymore.
is
that a
this
red
Love
flag?
is Blind?
Leave me alone. But it is a scenario. How would you feel about that? How would you feel?
I would feel uncomfortable.
Yeah. You guys need to dissolve the
It
business.
means they're still friends.
They have to deal with they have to deal with each other.
Ugh, I don't like
I
that.
don't like it.
I don't like it either.
And that's a different episode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are we talking about? Oh yeah.
Dealing with your ex,
Also, if all of their exes were the problem, like if you hadn't had one good relationship, and you're like they were all cheaters and liars,
Red
and
flag.
all of them were terrible, all
Red
of them,
flag.
every single one of them, you
Red
didn't
flag.
do anything wrong.
Yeah.
blood red.
Yeah. Come on,
That's a red flag. So,
Oh wait, I was gonna pivot.
Glennie.
That
go ahead. Go ahead.
That was. I was thinking more of the red flag was if you ask that question and then their answer is very vague. Like, oh, I don't know. Like, what do you mean? Like,
Maybe they don't want to talk about it, but
But you have
You
to
mean-
eventually.
yeah. Yeah, that's true. Why don't
You can
want?
word it. In a
Yeah.
way. There's no way you can be like, because if you're like, it kind of means you did something that you don't really want to say. That's how I interpret it.
Yeah.
And it's like, anyways, that's it.
So you met someone, right?
Yes. So, I guess for me, get to know the person. You met someone, you have to get to know the person. You have to talk a lot. You have to ask questions. Don't be afraid to ask questions. Sometimes people are afraid to ask questions because they think that's gonna turn the person off. But if it turns them off, well, hey, too bad. You say, what do you want, and why are you in this relationship? Why are you with me? What do you want from me? What do you expect? You ask questions like that. I mean, sometimes when you talk about marriage and stuff, maybe that turns a person off right away because you have to get to know a person for years. But you let them know, look, I eventually want to get married. Eventually, I'm not saying this year, I'm not saying next year, but that's my end goal. If that's your end goal, you say it. You know. So they will tell you, well, you know what, I don't really want to get married at all. I don't believe in marriage.
Give me your glass.
Then you'll know that that person may not be the person for you.
I have a question. Since you've just met them, that means you guys are going on dates, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel like the guy should pay for the first date or the first few dates?
The person who asked the other person out should pay for the date.
Okay.
If you
So if
ask
they're
him
like-
out, you should pay for the date. If he asks you out, he should pay for the date.
Okay.
That's what I think. Anybody else?
Glennie? We're not going to judge you. You're free here.
No idea. Oh.
Whoever asks,
How
you
often
know.
does the girl ask out though? I don't know.
Sometimes girls ask guys out.
Sometimes, yeah. Yeah.
So-
I don't. Ooh.
I think it's so case by case.
Okay.
Mhm.
It's so case like if the guy wants to do it, then right.
Rock and roll.
But if the guy asks out, they 100% should.
Yeah.
100%.
Well, I'm going to give you an example. When Joni was graduating, I said, we're going out for lunch. And there were people with me. And I said, we're going out for lunch. I could not expect those people to pay because I didn't know what was in their pocket. So the mere fact that I suggested it, I am the one who said, okay, I'm the one who said that we're going out for lunch, so therefore I'm paying. So if you say, oh, I want to take you out, let's go out on a date, let's go to Red Lobster, you should pay. Whomever suggested the date should be the one to pay. You can't tell somebody, let's go somewhere, and you're not paying. You're not willing to pay the bill. Because you don't know what's in their pocket. You don't know their financial situation. If you want to go somewhere, you know you can afford it. So you shouldn't have suggested it if you can't afford it. So I think the person who suggested it should pay.
Scenario. So I was scrolling on Instagram and I ran across this guy. You know how you're talking about like we should wait to get physical with somebody. And he was saying that there are some girls that have a 90-day rule. And he was saying that if the girl has a 90-day, she's not having sex, then he should have a 90-day, he's not paying for anything. How do you feel about that?
Well, he can date himself.
Wait. What's the thought?
What?
What's the
He
what,
can
How
date
is that even
himself.
comparable?
He's not even.
Wait, what- what's the thought process?
What?
Don't ask me.
Okay, well,
Well,
this-
he
the
was
whole
saying
basis
like,
is the
you know, if he's taking her out
He
for
sh-
90 days and she's
she
not,
give it
she's
up?
never gonna give it up.
she's not a prostitute.
That's what
Yeah.
that's what I
So
said.
she should get himself a prostitute.
Yeah.
If you want to, and then
My Lord.
I came across another one and he was just like, oh, you know, I spent like $200 on a date and we didn't even, you know, she wasn't even interested afterward, and you know, I was late on one of my bills because I spent that $200 on the date.
Your fault.
And that's one,
So-
financially irresponsible.
Yeah.
Two, if you think that you want to exchange money for sex, you should get a prostitute. And by the way, they're more than $200.
But
And thirdly, I have every right to go on a date and realize that this is not for me. Personally, I feel like women wait 90 days because that's how they get to know a guy, and guys pay to take you on dates because that's how they get to know you. That's
Okay.
me.
okay,
Well,
first of all, if she went to bed with him, that would not have paid his bill.
Yes.
First of all. Secondly,
Still struggling.
you meet somebody, you know you don't want to pay the bill, talk. That's why I said talk to them. They say talk first. Like, talk about what you believe in and what you don't believe in, before you end up going on a date. You go on a date, you spend money, you expect to go to bed with the person. Come on, give me a break. The person's not a prostitute. So you might as well just go get a prostitute. Don't go on a date with anybody. Go on whatever they have prostitutes and say, hey, I'm paying you for this. Women are not prostitutes. And I think that a lot of people or men or whatever have this. I've been watching a lot of YouTube, and they have this thing where they feel that if they pay for a date, they're owed something. No, you're not owed anything. And then when the women say, oh, they're independent, I don't need a man, they get offended. So I'm like, what do you really want? What do you want? What do you want? Do you want to pay for a woman and be a man? Well, to me, I don't believe in all that a man thing and a woman thing. I believe that, I think that's a different topic. But I don't think it makes you a man if you pay for a woman. You ask a woman out, you should pay. If you ask them, some women may take advantage. You ask her out, you make up your mind, okay, I'm taking this woman out. She may order lobster, and I can only afford chicken. You make up your mind that you're gonna pay, right? And if you go and she orders lobster, don't go out with her anymore. She's too expensive for you. You can't afford it. Right? But don't expect sex. Sex is not going to solve anything. Sex is not going to make the money come back into your wallet. Your wallet is still going to be negative $200. So you, as I said, you have to ask questions. You have to see if the person believes in the same thing you believe in, and you have the same values.
Yeah.
Even if you think it's
Dates are-
standard.
Huh?
Even if you think, I'm pretty sure they would agree. You never know. So you
You
should ask
never
anyway.
know.
No, you
you never
ask.
know.
That's why you need to talk
Just
to
ask
each
anyway.
other.
Yeah, but
Yes.
that's the thing. Like, dates are for getting to know people. Dates are not
Yeah, that's what it
for
Not just what they want to
wine and
I think
dining
that's-
the pants off of somebody. If
Yeah.
you want to wine and dine the pants off of somebody, then at least be honest about it. Like, hey, I want to have this type of situationship, and
Yep.
I'll take you out, and but we're just bumper buddies. But if you're just getting to know her, and you're upset, like, or you can't afford to date, then like maybe you should shift your priorities into becoming a sustainable, financially independent person instead of trying to like bring somebody into your
Get a
financial irresponsibility.
Get a Groupon.
Or take her. Like I said, you don't have to spend a lot of money to get to know somebody. You can go to the park. You can make sandwiches. There's plenty of free things to do in my area. There are free museums. There are free festivals. There are free like concerts, and you can just be like creative. You can play a movie in your backyard and pop a $1 bag of popcorn, and
But you go on a date with somebody. It's supposed to be the two of you enjoying each other's company.
exactly.
So
That's
it's not
what
necessarily, what's the end result? End result going to be? It's like, okay, I'm going out and eating. I'm enjoying this person's company. But if you know you can't afford to pay for a meal, then you can't go on dates.
Yeah.
Or you let your partner know, look, I can't really afford the whole meal. Or some men may think, oh well, if I tell her that, that's going to be discouraging. But if she's discouraged, well, maybe that's not the woman you want to date.
And also, if you want me to go Dutch, just tell me in advance.
Exactly.
Just don't wait for the bill to come and then be like, we're splitting it, right? And like, no, like if you ask me out, you'd be like, hey, I really want to spend time with you. I can't really afford to pay for the both of us, but I want to spend time with you, and can we go Dutch? I'll be like, okay.
But that's what it's about, though, getting to know each other before you even go on your first date. Talking, getting to know each other, what you like, what you don't like, what you're about, and then you can just, I know a lot of men who probably won't tell the woman I can't afford.
Free
Well,
things.
that
Free. And free it up.
That's, then you can't afford. Then you can't afford to be dating women.
Whether you tell them or not, you can't.
Exactly.
You can write. Look, if you can't afford to take me out on a date, you can be creative. Just be creative.
Yeah.
It's the effort. So and then that's also the thing, because even if you can afford it, if you can afford to fly me in a helicopter and buy me like a 5-star dinner, money isn't a band-aid for all of the other things that are lacking with you either. Sometimes it's not even about the money, it's about the effort that you're showing, because in those beginning stages, you're showing that you're truly interested in me. It's a foreshadowing of the effort that you're going to put into the relationship and the family, and you don't have to spend money, and then also money spent is not everything. Like you spend the $200 on a date and you have a crappy personality, boo, tomatoes, 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 I don't want to hang out with you anymore. Like
Thanks for the filet mignon.
But it's not you can't just be an asshole and be like, well, I bought you a steak.
Yeah.
When I first
Okay,
dated,
thanks.
I did the 50-50.
You look like you have regrets.
Yeah.
Well, for dating, the 50-50 is okay. But for marriage, the 50-50 is not okay. So that's the regret you saw on my face. For dating, I don't know, maybe it's okay. Yes, as I said, for dating, the 50-50 is okay. But once you get married, the person who makes the most money should pay the most.
Yeah.
So that's the look you saw on my face. I don't regret doing the 50-50. Because I knew that me and my partner were making the same money at the time. So it was only fair for 50-50.
Yeah.
But then as we got married and that person got a better job, they were making more. So the 50-50 did not apply anymore because they were making more money. So that's the look you saw on my face. But 50-50 is okay too.
Yeah.
So you're dating and the person say 50-50, that's fair.
I feel like when you do 50-50, people think that money is where it ends. But what I believe is that if I'm going half on the bills, we're also going half on the housework, and we're going half on everything else. If I'm paying half of the bills, I'm not cleaning the entire house and doing the dishes and cooking and taking care of the kids eventually.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like that's unfair. If you want me to do all of that and you take care of the bills, then that's an even exchange. But I'm not paying 50% and doing 100% of the housework, because that's not 50-50 to me. Personally, and that leaves you exhausted and drained and feeling like unappreciated and resentful.
But as I said, for dating, 50-50 is okay. But
dating
not,
50-50 is
it's not okay. And that's even a different topic.
Yeah.
Oh, okay,
Because
yeah.
what if they don't get a raise?
If they don't get a raise, you can continue to do
Yeah, they don't.
50-50.
Yeah, of course, as I said.
But if like one person's making like 100,000 and the
You're
other
making
person's
50,
making 50,
you can't do
then
50.
we can't split the bills 50-50. You know, like that's not fair. So like for every, I feel like if you're making 100,000 and I'm making 50,000, like you should, for every $25 I spend on the bills, you should spend $50 on the bills.
I think you can put it as a percentage.
Yeah, 50-50%.
You put in a percent. That's even a different topic. A percentage of your
income.
salary. Yes.
Yeah.
So you put in a percentage of your salary. I just want to summarize that for this podcast. Get to know the person. You found someone, you get to know the person. Don't be afraid to talk to them days before you even date them.
Yeah.
I wasn't curing you.
Oh, you
I was
elbowed me.
I don't know why I did that.
Because I made a
Yeah,
face.
Because you made a
elbowed me.
face.
I
yes.
made a face
It wasn't
because
me.
Glennie. I looked at the camera and
Wasn't
Glennie
to
was
me.
like this on camera, and then I went like this,
Yo.
and then Joni saw me and she made a face because I made a face, and then you knocked her.
Oh, I didn't
Okay,
do
so
that.
I guess what I'm
I
saying.
didn't think I made a face.
You never
I
think
just
you make
looked-
a face, Joni.
No one.
You never do think you make a face.
So,
Okay. Summarize.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you met someone.
So you met someone. Just get to know them.
Ask
Before-
lots of questions.
Yes, lots and lots of questions. Make sure they want what you want. That you want the same things. If you don't want the same things, don't force it. Don't think you can change them. Don't even go there, because then you may be wasting your time, and you may be in for a lot of heartache and headache. If the person is not what you want, you go on to the next person.
Yeah.
Get to know them. Get to know what their life is like. Get to know their make sure they take you around their family. Do that before you do anything else. Take some time to do that before you do anything else. If you decide that you want to, be intimate, make sure you get them checked out, because there's so many things going on now. You make sure you get that done, and demand it. I think, don't be afraid that someone's not gonna like you because you asked them to go to their doctor and show you their STD test. Demand that, because that's your health. And before you do anything, get all that done. Get to know the person. If they're not willing to do that, to me, that's a red flag.
Yeah.
That's
So-
Agree.
I
So,
also agree.
Yeah.
thank you for watching our podcast. Be sure to like and subscribe. See you on our next episode.
Bye. Good luck.
Forgot for so long.
Nice. Cool.
Get this away
I'm
from
so
me.
hot.
I'm so hot. Get it away.
And that's a wrap.
Let me call Brian back.
That's all.
Oh, it stopped raining.
The alcohol was kicking in.